technology which is going on, and changes which have taken place in almost every industry, certainly in any area of business. I look at what now. Netflix. Netflix used to have to get the machine. Now you go on the TV, boom, they give it to you, and just right in. Instant streaming. You have Amazon with their last year was the first year that electronic books outsold printed books. So now you got, the printed books are good forever. Look what's happening with magazines and periodicals. Way down. Next one is the one that goes down television. It's not way down, but they've covered it by having their own programming on the side channels, on the HBO and what have you. But the whole industry, which is completely changing, those that are aware of it, take advantage of the business, and those that are not, die. And I'm saying, be aware of it. Now, I'm going to show you the best thing that ever happened through negotiation techniques, and the worst thing that ever happened, and I will show it to you in one cell phone. Why is it the best? Because it's instant communication. Why is it the worst? Because it's instant communication.
Double-edged sword.
Right? Because now, when people have a tendency to say, well, I can say what I want to say. I don't have to think of what I'm going to say. Yeah, but it gets captured. The next thing is they put it in an email, and emails are forever. Don't think because you delete it, it's deleted. It's not deleted. It's up there somewhere. All right. If you don't believe me, ask Hillary. And you have this. So people have a tendency to, I don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. They're going to hold you to that word. So if you're doing it, you really didn't give enough thought to it. What are you going to say to them when they say, this is what you told me? And you're going to say, well, I wasn't thinking at the time. Can you say it? No. You have to be aware of it. So the good negotiators that will use this to their advantage, whereas the average person gets killed by it. So if somebody calls me on a particular transaction, and I am now, they got me on the phone, and I say, okay, and I'm now crossing the street dodging traffic, and they say, well, I'd like to talk to you about this particular deal, which we're working on. And I'd like to get your advice when we talk private. And I would say, I'm not in the office right now, I'm not aware. Let me call you back when it's convenient for you, and then we'll talk about it. Now I go back to my office, pull out the file, get all the information, put a adding machine on my desk, put a list of all the agendas we're going to talk about, and now I want to call you when you're trying to stay alive in traffic. Because that's the time I can get the best deal. Now, I'm not asking you, is your life in danger? Of course not. I would say, can you talk? And first people say, no, I can't. Because it's the convenience of communication. So learn to do it and watch out. How you handle it. Usually it's a two-edged sword, but be careful because it comes back. And now you should know all emails are subject to subpoena. Forget whether the content is subpoena. So imagine now you're a senior in a business and you have a product, and somebody goes down and says, we've been testing and there seems to be a problem with our pill. Now, all of a sudden somebody sues you for the problem with the pill, and they subpoena your email, and it comes out your own internal protocol said there was a problem with the pill. How do you stand in litigation? You're dead. How can you say I didn't know? It's not impossible. And if you look at all these recalls that are taking place in the automobile industry, you will find basically somewhere along the way there was somebody who had the information and sat on it or ignored it. And that is suicide. So you have to be very careful as to what you're putting in that. And unfortunately what this has done is it eliminated talk, communication face to face, which is unfortunate because there's always body language. And somebody can say something to your face and the intonation is different. For example, if somebody said, if I said to you, you don't really think that, do you? That's different. If I said, you don't really think that. Different intonation. one was a question, the other was a definitive statement. So you don't get that, except basically, you want to get a no, talk on the phone or send an email. You want to get a yes, try to get it in face-to-face meeting. You see the opposite. It's much harder to say no to somebody when they're crying in front of you, telling you their children are going to stop. It is over the phone. So these are all things or changes which are taking place. Another perfect example of changes taking place, DNA. How long ago was it at this point that people were convicted? And now they're being freed on DNA.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm connected with St. Jude's Hospital for children, and they are doing a research study in which they, and one of the reasons they do it is they track cancer in children when they have cancer, even when they get better, so for maybe 5 years, 10 years down the pike, if there's a recurrence, they track it. And they sent a research study to Wash St. Louis University, who's got a lab, 257,000 samples of DNA. 257,000 samples. You never heard of DNA. 7 years ago. This is everything in the world basically has changed. So be aware of it. It's in our lifetime, which is, some of it's good, some of it you wish it didn't happen. But by and large, what are we doing? Hey, we've got cars now that drive themselves. Right? One of the things that came up, who gets the ticket when it speeds? Not me, I wasn't back, I was there. And you have everything is created has some inherent problems that ultimately have to be resolved or looked at. And everything is not totally question for the better, but most of the things are, but they're at a constant change basis. Now, as far as creating a profession of coaching, and there are lots of them that do it. Some of them are very good. Some of them, and I've been aware of a lot of them, they're out to make money. They don't really give you a lot. They tell you a lot, but you don't really come out with something of major substance. They're either selling you a product or trying to sell you a product or get you on to somewhere else at that point. That's one thing I've liked about JT. He doesn't do that. To my knowledge, anyway. Tomorrow he may change his mind. But no, he's selling you, and I've sat in on his class. I've sat in on his classes. One thing I have been in on his classes. The idea is to impart to your audience something of value that they can use, not something that you want to sell them something that they're going to basically put up money and then not use. Going to throw it away or forget it. One thing is always true, and certainly here, whatever you hear, and you're here and spending 3 days at the time with Nito and others who are extremely competent. If you got something to do it. If you don't want to do it, get out. Don't spend your money. But if you do want to improve yourself, this is the place to be. You'll end up with new things, with new ideas, and say, but how do I make it better? One of the ways that you can make it better is to create a feeling of trust with whoever you're doing business. If they don't trust you, they won't do business. So they have to be. So if you say somebody, I'll call you tomorrow, call tomorrow. I'll send you this tomorrow. If you don't send it to them tomorrow, call them up tomorrow. I told you you'd have it tomorrow, but I'm a day late. Keep the lines of communication open, not on the big items, on the small ones, to create an element of trust. There was a survey which was taken not too long ago, but I got involved with making a major study of negotiation before I wrote the 2 books. And there was a survey taken by some, not scientists, people interested in negotiation, and they contacted 150 major CEOs of major corporations, and they said, what are the most important traits you would want for people negotiating on your behalf? And the answers came back. Tell us which in order of importance and why. You write that way. The answers came back. The number one trait of a good negotiator. You know what it was? Personality. Surprised to have a personality. That should be number one. And they said, and they asked, and part of the answer, why? And the answer basically that came up, or the consensus of opinion from the executives came up, is that if people like your personality, they will deal with you and negotiate with you. If they don't like it, they're going to shut off and say no. So they have to be comfortable with you. You have to set up the area of comfort that they say, yeah, it's a nice person to do business with, and I don't mind, that's good, that's it. And number one,